Good evening, everyone. Can I have your attention, please? Good evening. We'd like to start this evening's program. It's not going to be a long program, but we do have some brief announcements and some brief recognitions, and then we have a very special guest who's going to make a presentation as well. So if I could have your attention for just a little bit. Thank you very much. And again, hello everyone, welcome. My name is Dr. Steve Maxner. I'm the director of the Vietnam Center and Sam Johnson Vietnam Archive. And on behalf of our project and on behalf of the Institute for Peace and Conflict and Texas Tech University, it's our pleasure to welcome you to our 2024 Vietnam War Conference, 1974, Shattered Peace, Continued Conflict, and Preparing for the Final Battle for Vietnam. It's a pleasure to welcome you here this evening and to express how much we appreciate you traveling all this way to join us. We know this is going to be another interesting and informative conference, and it's going to be that way because of your participation and sharing your research and your knowledge. Before I introduce this evening's special guest speaker, I'd like to take a moment to welcome Major General Viet Lung. We're very excited to have him join us this evening. And of course, we look forward to his remarks tomorrow evening as our banquet keynote speaker. And I also want to welcome in absentia Ambassador Chase Untermeyer. Ambassador Untermeyer served in the U.S. Navy during the war. He later served as the U.S. Ambassador to Qatar in 2004, 2007. And he's teaching a class right now in this conference room, but afterwards he'll come out and join us. And I just want to recognize him as well. And I'd also want to take a few minutes just to talk about this wonderful facility where we're hosting this event tonight. So this is Texas Tech's DFW site. This is part of TTU Online's, the online system. It's the newest educational site where we go beyond traditional academics by offering a multi-purpose site with a diverse range of programs and services that reflect Texas Tech's dedication to extending educational excellence and meeting the needs of many communities of learners. Recognizing the importance of flexibility, accessibility, and affordability in higher education, TTU DFW offers a comprehensive range of online and hybrid academic programs that allow students to pursue their goals while balancing work, family, and other commitments. Now, interestingly, TTU DFW is going to soon be North Texas's first iOS design lab, featuring basically a system, an educational program that's going to allow students to engage in innovation app development, digital design, user experiences, and to help students and professionals to be more digitally literate while also becoming practitioners of technology development. TTU DFW also offers cutting-edge meeting spaces and event services like the conference this weekend. And of course, we host a number of different types of programs, providing a collaborative and professional environment for meetings, conferences, and other types of gatherings. Texas Tech DFW is a vibrant new hub of learning for Texas Tech, for collaboration, innovation, and we're excited to be hosting our conference here as the first official major event at this location for Texas Tech. So special thanks to the team. I don't know if they're here. TTU DFW team, Heather Anderson, Lauren Ritter, and Brandon Worthington. Yeah, thank you very much for all your work. Thank you very much. And now it's my distinct pleasure to introduce this evening's speaker, Rear Admiral Nguyen. Rear Admiral Nguyen was born in Hue, Vietnam, growing up in the midst of the war, losing his parents and his siblings during the Tet Offensive of 1968 when he was 9 years old. He left Vietnam in April of 1975, settling in Oklahoma, graduated from Oklahoma State University in 1981 with a Bachelor of Science degree in electrical engineering, and received a direct commission with the Reserve Engineering Duty Officer Program in 1993. He holds master's degrees in electrical engineering from Southern Methodist University, engineering degree from from Purdue University, an information technology degree from Carnegie Mellon University with highest distinction. After 29 years of dedicated and distinguished service, Rear Admiral Huan retired from the Navy in 2022, and since his retirement, he's remained very active, serving as a senior advisor to the U.S. Navy, as a member of the board of directors for the National Bureau of Asian Research, and now serves on the board of advisors for the Vietnamese American Foundation. So please join me in welcoming Rear Admiral Huan Nguyen.
Well, before I dive into my speech here, I want to thank Dr. Maxner and the rest of the guests here who welcome me into this conference. For me, this is the first time I'm being in this conference, but I have been a fan of TTU for a long time, especially the Center from Vietnam War Conflict. Because there's a lot of issues, a lot of things that we need to talk about. There's a lot of history that need to be maintained. Okay. So again, Dr. Maxner, thank you so much for having me here today and giving me the chance to talk about here at this conference. The theme for this year is 1974, Shattered Peace, Continued Conflict, and Preparing for the Final Battle for Vietnam. It marks a crucial point in history for the beginning of the end of the Vietnam conflict, notably initiated by the reduction of aid from the United States to South Vietnam. 1974 started with the Battle of Hoàng Sa Island between the South Vietnamese Navy and the Chinese Navy on January 19th. This confrontation ended with China gaining control of the islands and the tragic loss of 74 South Vietnamese sailors. This event, although pivotal, was gradually forgotten, only resurfacing in domestic newspaper nearly 40 years later. Half a century has passed, and the Vietnamese people, regardless of political affiliations, share a common loss. Their sea and islands claim as their own, now under Chinese control. All over the world, in Vietnam, Vietnamese people are commemorating these events and memorializing the sacrifice of these South Vietnamese sailors. So, in the current context of heightened U.S.-China tensions, Vietnam must reassess its strategy concerning dispute in the East China Sea. China's increasingly aggressive stance in the South China Sea underscores the need for Vietnam to strengthen its relationship with the United States and recently elevated its relationship to a comprehensive strategic partnership, the CSP. This partnership signifies deeper alignment and trust, fostering cooperation in technology, development, investment, trade, climate change initiatives, and defense collaboration. So despite political sensitivities, Vietnam should not marginalize its overseas Vietnamese community, especially those who serve the former South Vietnamese regime. The Vietnamese diaspora can contribute significantly to the U.S.-Vietnam relationship, aiding its economic growth and development. However, there remain unresolved issues close to the hearts of many Vietnamese Americans, particularly Vietnam War veterans. That is the restoration of the South Vietnam National Military Cemetery and the recovery of South Vietnam soldiers' remains. Neglect and time have damaged the cemetery, while many soldiers remain unrecovered, denying family closures and proper burials. This mission, I call the last mission, is dedicated to bring closure to the Vietnam War's lingering ghost by repatriating these forgotten soldiers and restoring their final resting places. Organizations like the Vietnamese American Foundation are instrumental in this effort, working to recover soldiers' remains and restore the Bien Hoa Military Cemetery, despite challenges from both sides of the conflict's legacy. Often, the hardest fight is right here in the United States, with a difference of opinions within the Vietnamese community. I named this endeavor the last mission because veterans like Mr. Thành, a former South Vietnamese soldier and now CEO of VAF, are becoming increasingly few in number. They still grapple with the haunting memories of war and have yet to find inner peace. How can they, when the souls of their fallen comrades still seem to wander the battlefields of Vietnam, seeking a final resting place? How can they, when the graves of many remains neglected over times. This final mission is for all of us who are invested in laying the ghost of the Vietnam War to rest. It is our duty to ensure that we bring these heroes home and restore their final resting place to one of dignity and historical significance. This is not just for their loved ones and comrades, but also for the lessons of history to be passed on to future generations. Our final mission will necessitate the cooperation and collaboration of various organizations, including the overseas Vietnamese diaspora, the American government, the Vietnamese government, and everyone else. It demands that we set aside our differences and united toward a common goal and objectives. The Vietnamese American Foundation goals and objectives are straightforward. We aim to lead an effort to fully restore the cemetery and establish a long-term, self-sustaining plan for its maintenance. Additionally, we seek to initiate an effort to recover the remains of individuals from both sides of the conflicts and repatriate them. These endeavors will provide closure for the deceased and the living, bringing a finality to the war. We call for action in the establishment of a comprehensive and unified approach from all stakeholders to address these issues once and for all. After all, it is our duty to our South Vietnamese allies who fought side by side with the United States honorably. By honoring their memory and bring them home, we not only provide closure to their families, but also preserve their legacy for future generations. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Admiral Huan. So much of what we hope to accomplish with this conference and with next year's conference, of course, is in addressing the legacy issues of the war. And so we're so happy to have a number of sessions and panels and presenters who are going to be talking about that very specific issue. And of course, we look forward to continuing our discussions with you, with General Viet, and a number of other people here who share your passion regarding that very important mission. So thank you. So this concludes this evening's program. We look forward, of course, to seeing everyone bright and early tomorrow morning. We start things off at 8 o'clock, and you should all have a copy of the shuttle schedule so that the shuttle will be picking people up at the embassy suites and bringing them here fairly early. We'll have coffee ready for you. As a general reminder, please don't forget your name badges, your name tags. We're going to need a little bit more control over who's coming in for the meals and things like that. And this is your ticket for your meals, so please make sure you bring this. And speaking of food, the bar is still open. Of course, the hors d'oeuvres are still hot and ready for you, so please enjoy the rest of the reception. And again, thank you very much for joining us this evening.